Dear colleagues, I would like to welcome all of you to our conference. I want to say that my opening speech was finished 2 days ago, and I even managed to proofread it. But yesterday it came, and I have to refer to the events that took place on the campus of the Warsaw University yesterday. So we had very stimulating pre-conference master classes, and all day long we could hear students protesting outside of the window. At 5 p.m., the noise stopped, and when we tried to leave the campus, its gates were closed. There was a lot of police in front of the university. We learned that the university authorities had called the police to remove the protestants because they were behaving aggressively. I cannot say if they were aggressive. They were very loud, that's what I can say. For over 20 days, they were protesting against Warsaw University passivity towards genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. But the university authorities didn't want to talk to them. Before I left the campus, I met a group of students from the Faculty of History who were still on the territory of campus, and they were really very moved by the events. In their conversation, they compared the events of yesterday with those of the March 1968, when students massively protested against the communist government and were forcibly repressed. I do not want to discuss about the accuracy of this historical comparison. What I would like to pay your attention to is how these young people in their very early 20s interpret the biographical experience of yesterday by referring to the memory of March 1968. This comparison clearly shows a power of memory, and in my opinion, yesterday's events demonstrate how important and actual is our conference. I would like to express my solidarity with the protesting students whose voices were not heard. Regardless the difficulty of the situation, I encourage you to even more critical and in-depth discussions on remembrance processes during next 3 days of this conference. And now I would like to make the ordinary welcoming, and I would like to welcome you on behalf of Marta Buchholz, co-organizer of this conference, who couldn't come today, but she will join us since tomorrow. I would like to welcome you on behalf of my colleagues from Visegrad project. Before I will start to tell you a little bit more what we are going to expect, let me present a little bit of the genealogy of this conference. So it was nearly 2 years ago when, together with my colleagues, Agnieszka Halembach, she's with us, Kamila Baraniecka-Olszewska from Poland, Andrzej Fert from Ukraine, Agata Sustowa-Drelowa from Slovakia, Barbara Spalowa from Czech Republic, Istvan Povedak from Hungary, and Nikolai Vukov from Bulgaria, we have elaborated an academic project, Post-Secular Approach to Memory Processes in Central Eastern Europe, which in 2022 got financial support from the Visegrad Fund. For last over a year, we had regular online meetings and 2 in-person workshops in Bratislava and Prague, during which, through presentations, discussions, and post-secular walks, we tried to understand the role of religion in shaping the collective memory of the societies of Central and Eastern Europe. We tried to establish what are the common features and what are the particularities of memory and religion entanglements each of the societies. This conference is simply the next step of our project. At the same time, it goes beyond the original framework of the Visegrad project, offering even broader reflections on the relationships between memory, religion, and secularity in remembrance processes. This broadening of perspective is the result of Marta Buchholz becoming co-organizer of this conference, and the Center for Research on Social Memory, University of Warsaw, Center for Advanced Studies in the Humanities and Social Sciences, Munich University, and the Working Group of Lived Religion joining this conference as partners. Co-convener of this conference, Marta Buchholz is the head of the Center of Figurational Research, Warsaw University. In her researches, she looks on the impact of religion and the Polish Catholic Church on the formation of the Polish national habitus. We both are also involved in the researches of the Center for the Advanced Studies in the Humanities and Social Sciences, Munich University, the partner of this conference, which stimulate discussions on the intersections of religion and particular ideologies such as nationalism in recent contemporary history, and ask a question how religious and secular modes of order have gained political relevance. In turn, the partnership with the Working Group on Lived Religion, headed by Katrin Wanner from Penn State University, has made us even more sensitive to the ethnographic perspective on religion and memory entanglements. Finally, the Center for Research on Social Memory, long-term researches, has stimulated us to look more complex, to look for more complex theoretical reflections on how groups and societies of our region shape their identity through historical references in which religions play an important role. Growing from all these research groups, this conference aims to discuss how religious and secular impact memory processes in Central and Eastern Europe, but also in other regions where both religions and secularities are constitutive for memory processes. So our conference had three main goals. Firstly, to look on the Central and Eastern Europe as a laboratory of cultural memory in action. It is a role of the plenary session that we will have just after opening speeches. Invited experts and researchers will discuss particularities of religion and secularity entanglements in the remembrance processes in the societies they come from. But they will also show which universal patterns shapes the regional remembrances. The aim of the plenary session is to reflect on how various histories and memories and experiences of two totalitarian regimes, different attitudes towards religion, different influences of religious institutions on politics and societies, how they all affected remembrance processes in the region. Secondly, to boldly experience memory in work. And it is the goal of the post-secular memory walk that I will take you tomorrow morning. Information on our place of meeting, I will disseminate between you later. I want to say that such walks are already a tradition of meetings of our Visegrad group. Agata Sustowa-Drelova showed us around Bratislava and Alessandro Testa in Prague. The aim of the walks is not only to develop knowledge, but also to experience various temporalities, confront with various memories and body sensations caused by the fact that the living and the dead, they together create the landscape of memory in which we live. Thirdly, and foremostly, we will discuss in details how religion mobilizes and is mobilized in memory work and how it affects remembrance processes in Central Eastern Europe and beyond. What are specificities of the religious and secular narratives on the past? What are the influences of churches and other religious organizations and the interpretations of the past on cultures of memory? To what extent the existing theoretical apparatus explained us religion actualizations in memory processes in our region? These are only some of the problems that we are going to discuss during next three days of the conference. At the end of my opening speech, let me express my gratitude to all of you for coming to Warsaw, to my colleagues from Visegrad Project, panelists and chairs, to Małgorzata Karpińska, Dean of the Faculty of Culture and Arts, University of Warsaw, Iwona Kaliszewska, the Deputy Director of the Institute of Ethnology and Cultural Anthropology, Warsaw University, Joanna Wawrzyniak, Head of the Center for Research on Social Memory, Warsaw University, Katrin Wanner, the Head of the Working Group on Lived Religion, and Martin Schulze Wessel, Co-Director of the Center for Advanced Studies and Humanities and Social Sciences, Munich University, Ethnology for supporting me and Marta in the preparation of this conference. I extend my warmest acknowledgements to Marta Buchholz. She is not with us, but please tell her that I am very grateful, because without her support and engagement, this conference wouldn't happen. I would like to express my great debt to Anna Pazio. You met her. She's our secretary conference. And if I could ask, could you make her yeah. You know how much work she put in organizing this conference and being in touch with you. And it is my really great pleasure to work with her. I would like also to express my gratitude to Agnieszka Nowakowska from the Faculty of Sociology, University of Warsaw, who also supported me on different stages of the conference preparation. I also received vulnerable support from Magdalena Lehmann from the Institute of Ethnology and Cultural Anthropology, University of Warsaw, who made the conference visual identification. Michał Głuszek and Artur sorry, Artur, I'm sorry. Grigenc, he's with us for technical and IT support of this conference. Finally, let me acknowledge the International Visegrad Fund and the Warsaw University who financially support this conference. I am also grateful to the Institute of Archaeology and Ethnology Polish Academy of Sciences for hosting the Visegrad project and supporting financial statements of this conference, which are covered by the Visegrad Fund. So let's make these 3 days very productive, stimulating, and I hope that you will have really good time here in Warsaw. Thank you for your attention. And now I have a pleasure to invite Iwona Kaliszewska, the Deputy Director of the Institute of Ethnology and Cultural Anthropology, to welcome you.
Thank you, Zuzanna. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming to this conference. And I should probably express my deepest thanks to Zuzanna, who just put it all together. Like, she thanked all of you, but I think she is just a hero because it's not the first big conference in Warsaw in recent times. Just 2 months ago, was it? Like, there was a really huge conference taking place, and she was also ahead of that, putting that all together. So I deeply support her, but it's a lot of her work. Let me welcome you on behalf of Institute of Ethnology and Cultural Anthropology of the University of Warsaw. A memorable day indeed. When I was entering university, the guards asked me for ID, and I told them, well, it feels like in Moscow. So they didn't ask me for ID anymore, because that's the worst possible thing you can say to a Polish person, is to make a comparison to Moscow. When I tried to make it yesterday, when the students were protesting, because I was with them after they were expelled by the police were also like, like, do not make these comparisons, but I don't really want to make them, and I hope it will not go this way. However, it felt very bad to have the police at the campus, to have our students taken out from the campus, and for not letting them into the rector's office to talk, because they have, as Zuzanna said, they have been protesting for like almost 20 days, and the authorities were ignoring them. So they had the right to protest in a stricter way. So I hope you will be tolerant, or you will even if we have some disturbances or stimulations around, please be patient. You may come and talk to students. Like 1/4 of the students are anthropology students. You know, these are our people whom we raised to be brave, whom we raised to say what they mean. We may agree, we may not agree, but we were teaching them to discuss, to meet, to confront, rather than to hide their heads like university authorities do. Well, that's probably a very memorable days if it comes to a conference on remembrance and memory. I don't know how it will be remembered. Probably it will not be remembered in favor of university authorities, despite them trying to cover it up and say like students were super violent and so on. But there were too many people and too many lecturers around to see that nothing really like that was happening. anyhow, I was also not going to talk about that. So I was just going to say that this conference opens the sort of celebration of the 90, not 91, no, 19 years of ethnology and anthropology at the University of Warsaw. So like our institute will have this ongoing chain of celebration, and this conference comes as a first event. Of course, we'll not give here like jubilee speeches for that reason, but we are just happy that this conference came together with our celebration of the 90 years of ethnology and cultural anthropology. So I wish you all the very fruitful, insightful, and stimulating discussions. If anything happens here and any of you wants to talk to the protesters, feel welcome. They will be happy to talk to you. They're anthropologists after all. But first of all, welcome everybody and have a nice time, fruitful discussions and presentations. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I would like to ask Joanna Wawrzyniak, the head of the Center for Research on Social Memory, University of Warsaw, my very good friend with whom I wrote some text, and who is now the president-elect of the International Memory Studies Association. So we have really a great possibility to hear welcoming from very important person.
Thank you so much. I feel very humbled now. Good morning. I mean, it's such a pleasure to see so many excellent memory scholars in Warsaw, and especially that you will debate one of the foundational themes of memory studies. So it has been already Maurice Albach's, Emil Durkheim, of course, and then Stefan Czarnowski, you know, our very own Stefan Czarnowski, Polish Stefan Czarnowski, who kind of explained the importance of the religious framework of the past and our understanding of the past based on under religion. But this year was a very sad year for the memory studies because we have lost Jan Assmann, the most prolific writer about the intersection of the culture, memory, and religion. The writer who showed us that it is important to look on that intersection both in, let's say, longue durée over thousands of years, but also and to look at that in the very present context. And if you take the Moses the Egyptians, like it takes us both like to, I mean, it can perhaps shed light on what is happening right now in the conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians. The conflict, as you know, and as you have just heard, is also firing back on our campus here. And it was very interesting to hear Iwona's and Zuzanna's recollections of that, what has happened yesterday, because it also shows us that the very events like this are being remembered differently by various agents. So if you look at that, what has been said by the rectorate, they all say they've been talking with the students. So we do have to take, you know, all the perspectives into account as memory scholars. But anyway, it's my greatest pleasure to welcome you today on behalf of two institutions, because as you have heard, I'm wearing two hats today. The first one is the Center for Research on Social Memory of the Faculty of Sociology, University of Warsaw. We've been established in 2011 under a different name, and since then we've been studying the various uses of the past in the politics, culture, and societies of the region. And it was always Zuzanna who reminded us that, well, you can't really understand that region without looking at the religious revival after 1989, and to look into that into a comparative perspective. And the conference is going to bring a lot of insights into that. And the second association is the already mentioned Memory Studies Association. I can say that as let's say, to paraphrase David Lodge's small word, I don't know if you remember when he says that the word is the global campus. So we can also say that the memory studies is a global campus today. So I'm really happy again to see so many of you to share your expertise with us. And well, if you are not a member of the Memory Studies Association, I hope you will join it soon. But for now, I just wish you a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. And I think there will be occasion because next year Memory Studies Association conference is in Prague. So really hope to see many of you there. And now we have two other people who would like to welcome you. They are online with us, to be honest, recorded online, so you can't ask them, but let us give them a voice.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kathy Wanner. I'm the convener of the Working Group on Lived Religion in Eastern Europe and Eurasia. And I'm very, very pleased to be a sponsor of this incredibly wonderful conference that Zuzanna has put together. I only regret that I can't be with you in Warsaw. I think the conference promises to be incredibly interesting. You have a fantastic theme, the whole issue of memory, when considered in combination of religiosity and secularity, really promises to offer some new insights. And I hope some great ideas and very stimulating and inspiring discussions will come out of the presentations that you'll hear. I wish you all a wonderful and fruitful couple of days discussing these tremendously interesting questions at this critically important time of our own history.
Hello, I'm happy to be invited to give a short welcome to you, to the participants of the conference on memory, religion, and secularity. I find the conference program extremely fruitful, and I'm impressed by the thoughtful outline of the underlying assumptions of your conference. Indeed, the specific experience of post-socialist countries, the experience of anti-religious policies has a deep impact on the memory of these countries today. Particular theoretical concepts have been developed in the West to describe Western society. A new concept is needed with regard to specific experiences in East Central and Southeastern Europe. This is an intriguing task for your conference. I'm glad that the Munich Center for Advanced Studies, Universalism and Particularism in Contemporary Europe is a partner of your conference, and I'm one of the directors of this Center for Advanced Study, and Zuzanna Bogumił and Marta Buchholz are fellows of our center. The main research question is how universalism emerges and how it is transformed into particularism, a question that is especially relevant with regard to the post-socialist history of East Central Europe after 1989, which is a story of a transformation of universalist principles into particularist values. We have three main research fields: the development of human rights, the economy, and religion. The last field is obviously connected to your conference. Therefore, your conference might be a starting point for a research cooperation between Warsaw and Munich. I wish you fruitful discussions and all the best for your conference.
I think that the conference is officially opened, and I would like to invite the panelists and the moderator of the plenary session